Hey guys, welcome to another episode of The Vinyl Den, your channel for record collecting by record collectors. I'm Nick. It's Tuesday. It's time to talk about some new releases coming out this Friday, January 13th. We're getting kind of back to normal. There's about 350 albums coming out this Friday. I got 12 on my list today. There's a bunch of links down below. Make sure you go check those out. There's links for the Vinyl Den Facebook group, for the merch page, for the Spotify and Apple Music weekly playlist we put together, and also the Patreon page. So make sure you go check all that out. Of course, if you enjoyed the episode, make sure you give me the old thumbs up, hit that subscribe button down below, and make sure you hit that notification bell so you're notified every time I release new episodes. So like I said in the intro, there's about 350 albums coming out this Friday. I've only got 12 that I'm going to talk about here today, so if there's something else coming out, make sure you drop me a comment down below. Let me know what you're looking forward to picking up. I will say that of these 12 albums, I'll put links down below. If you can't find them in your store, all these will be available online. So the first one on the list this week, this is the big, I think probably the big reissue that a lot of people have been waiting for. At least I have been, and a lot of people on the Facebook group have been also. But this is Warrant, Dirty, Rotten, Filthy, Stinking Rich. This was, of course, released back in 1989. It was their debut album. This is on translucent green vinyl. It's a music on vinyl release. It's going to be super limited. I think there's only 1,500 copies that are being pressed of this. So it might be kind of hard to grab a copy. It's it was a big album when it was released. It reached all the way, I think it was number 10 on the Billboard 200 here in the U.S. It's going to run you $35 online. I think, like I said, I think it's gonna be hard to track a copy of this down. When they released Cherry Pie, was it a month or two back? I think they did 2,000 copies of that, and even that was really kind of hard to find. I know a lot of people that got pre-orders canceled on that. So, we'll see. We'll see how easy it is to grab a copy. Music on vinyl releases tend to be kind of hard to get here in the U.S. Kind of takes a while for them to kind of trickle out because they're pressed in Europe, and normally it's a week or two later before they start hitting the U.S. here. So we'll see how easy it is to grab a copy of that. But I've got one on pre-order. We'll see if I get it. And then the next one, this is Blackbear in Loving Memory. Blackbear, if you're really unfamiliar with him, he's done a lot of different things over his career. This was released August of last year. It was a 6 studio album. This is the first time it's been available on vinyl. Blackbear, he's done a lot of I don't know, it's kind of hard to put his music into a genre, at least before this album. He's done some kind of rap, some kind of hip hop, some R&B, just a big kind of mixing of genres. But this is, In Loving Memory is a great album. It's one of my favorite albums of last year. And this is very much for the most part, a very pop punk kind of album. I love it. I thought it was a fantastic album. It's going to run you $24 online. It's if you haven't checked it out, and if you're a fan of that kind of genre, I highly recommend that album. Another album I've been waiting a while to finally get reissued. This is Angels and Airwaves, Love Part 2. First released back in 2011. It was a follow-up to 2010's Love. And when Love Part 2 came out, it was also released with the feature film Love, which this album, Angels and Airwaves, did. Love and Love Part 2, I think, were the full soundtrack for that movie. To be completely honest, I never saw the movie. But Love and Love Part 2 are both fantastic albums. Love was reissued last month, and then Part 2 is coming out this week. It's a fantastic album. It's not one of my favorite Angels and Airwaves albums. It's definitely up there. It's a good listen. It's going to run $38 online. And then the next one is one that I think is definitely worth. If you're unfamiliar with the next one, it's definitely worth streaming. I love it. It's a great live album. This is Elvis as recorded at Madison Square Garden. This is Elvis at his absolute best. This was released back in 1972. It's a double LP. This is going to be on white marble vinyl. This is also a music on vinyl release. This was the second of 2 shows that he did on June 10th, 1972 in Madison Square Garden. Like I said, Elvis in the early part of the 70s is absolutely on fire live. It's going to run you $40 online. Like I said, if you're unfamiliar with that live show, definitely check it out. If you're an Elvis fan, in my opinion, it's the greatest he's ever sounded live. This week we've also got the next big box set from Eric Clapton coming out. This is the complete Reprise Studio Albums Volume 2. It's a lot in it. It's going to run you $200, but it's a 10 LP box set. It's got the 5 studio albums he did for Reprise from 2001 to 2010, and there's also a new Rarities album that's being included in it. It's not my favorite period from Eric Clapton, so I'm definitely going to pass on that box set. But if you're an Eric Clapton fan, I think it's a good one to look at. And then you've also got Mumford and Sons Babel being reissued this week. This was first released back in 2012. This is their second studio album. It's going to be on cream colored vinyl. I think this was supposed to come out last year because they said this is supposed to be celebrating the 10th anniversary, but that would have been last year. So I think probably just production delays made it come out a little late. But anyway, this is going to run you $28 online. This is the only Mumford & Sons album I've ever listened to. It's a good album. $28 is not a bad price. If I can get it for a couple bucks cheaper, maybe I'll think about picking it up, though. Another album that I definitely have on pre-order already. This is NOFX, So Long and Thanks for the Shoes. It's going to be about $23 online. First released back in 1997. There's their 7th studio album. It's on brown, yellow, and pink Neapolitan vinyl. I think this thing's going to look pretty cool. It's a fantastic album. Maybe one of NOFX's most underrated albums. I know Fat Mike is on record as saying I know he said before this is his favorite NOFX album. It's definitely up there for me. Probably top 5, I think. It's just a great album overall. So I definitely looking forward to that one this week. And then you've also got Big Bad Voodoo Daddy, Americana Deluxe. To be completely honest, this is one of those albums I completely forgot even existed. That late 90s like swing revival kind of thing was always kind of interesting to me. Big Bad Voodoo Daddy this was the only album of theirs I ever listened to. So I think it's good, but it's going to run you about $48 online. So I think it's pretty pricey for what it is. This was first released back in 1998. It was their second studio album. It's on red and yellow swirl vinyl. It's a double LP. Good album, but for almost $50, man, it's kind of a steep price for me to pay. The Goo Goo Dolls are releasing Chaos in Bloom this Friday. This was originally released back in August of last year. Their 13th studio album. I think this is the first time it's been available on vinyl. Really, the only thing I know about this album is it was the first album that from the Goo Goo Dolls that Johnny Resnick produced. I need to go back and check out their last 4 or 5 albums at least. It's probably even more than that, maybe 6 or 7 albums. But their band I kind of casually liked in the 90s. I really liked their really early stuff, the first couple of albums that were much more harder rock than probably what a lot of people know the Goo Goo Dolls for. But it's definitely one I'm going to stream and check out. And then you get the first of 2 Chicago releases coming out this Friday. This is Chicago 6, released back in 73, so it's celebrating its 50th anniversary. It was their 6th studio album. It's going to be on turquoise vinyl. It's going to run you about $37 online. It's from Friday Music, so it's going to sound pretty good. I grew up listening to Chicago, so my parents were both big Chicago fans. So it's definitely what I'm looking forward to. $73 if I can get it a little cheaper, I'll definitely grab it. But that is a great album. I think it was their second number 1 album here in the U.S. And then the last 2 on the list are both part of the Rhino Start Your Ear Off Right series that Rhino Records is releasing over the month of January. The first one, this is Bob Weir Ace, released back in 72. This is Bob's debut solo album. It's going to be on translucent red vinyl, remastered, limited to 5,000 copies. If you're unfamiliar with Bob, he's a guitarist and co-founder of the Grateful Dead. Ace is the only solo album of his I've ever listened to, and it's a fantastic album. It's definitely worth checking out. It's going to run you $28 online. And then the last one, this is Chicago 9, Chicago's Greatest Hits. This was released back in 75. This was Greatest Hits off of their first 8 albums. I was interested in this until I saw that Rhino was doing a picture disc. So $28. I could definitely... Chicago's one of those bands that, even though I do like a lot of their music, I've got a couple other albums on vinyl. They're one of those bands I could get away with a greatest hits collection, also on top of a couple of studio albums. But it's a hard pass for me just because it's on a picture disc. But there is a standard reissue that they did a couple of years ago that's you could easily pick up for $24, $25. But if you're a Chicago fan, you love picture discs, This one might be right up your alley. Well, that's all I got for you today, guys. Thanks for checking the show out. Make sure you drop me a comment down below. Let me know what you guys are looking forward to this week. There is some really great stuff coming out this week. Definitely for me is going to be that Warrant. Hopefully I get my pre-order that I put in. I pre-ordered that Blackbear already. Pre-ordered Angels and Airwaves. Pre-ordered NOFX. So there's a lot of pre-orders that I've got come to me this week. It's a bunch of great stuff. After the last couple of weeks have been kind of thin as far as new releases. So looking forward to this from here moving out. You know, it should be kind of back to normal as far as releases go. But let me know what you guys are looking forward to. If you enjoyed the episode, make sure you give me the old thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button down below. And that's all I got. Until next time, keep on spinning. Peace.